Hello. I plan on doing my project on Islam, concentrating as much as I can in my local area. My plan is to virtually attend some services because that's all that's possible right now. And I've also identified a local business owner that I see and chat with often, who's a very observant Muslim. And when I brought up the idea of maybe interviewing him and discussing, he got very enthusiastic and wanted to help in any way he could. So I'm looking forward to that because I know I'll have an enthusiastic partner in the effort. In addition to that, I do plan on having a discussion with at least one scholar slash clergy person. I'm currently cross-registered in a course at Bayan Claremont School of Theology, and so I have access to my classmates, and many of them are Muslim scholars or clergy people, and so it'll be easy to get a little bit of validation of some of the things that I think I'm finding. I do, however, plan for my primary interview source to be my local neighbor because I think that I'm very interested in looking at the day-to-day practical thing and a little less on, an academy sort of more theological orientation. I chose Islam in particular because until this semester I've had very little direct exposure, and I think it's really important to learn, and I'm looking forward to trying to round out my own knowledge experience and maybe even make a couple of contacts along the way. That's my project. So in addition to that, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the other things mentioned in this week's assignment. In general, in the course, I'd like to talk a little bit about, my takeaways, the things that particularly worked for me. I think the lessons that affected me most involved reading the more theological descriptions of how different religions approach the need for working for justice and peace. In doing so, I was struck by how much common ground there is, and therefore there should be room for increased cooperation. It seems that peace, social justice, and charity are all areas where there's a lot of room for synergy. And a lot of faiths have common goals in these areas, so that should encourage us to join forces in the spirit of cooperation. That might even lead to more cooperation in other areas once people get used to working together. I'm in seminary personally, largely because of a call to work in social justice, so the prospect of doing that kind of work in an interfaith setting is particularly exciting to me. This week, after reading the readings on African American pluralism, I was taken by the relationship between religion and cultural identity. It seems like people could have more than one religion. They could have the embedded religion they grew up with, and then they could feel called to an ancestral or traditional religion. And then, of course, they have to work out the feelings that go with having those sort of two allegiances. In particular, I found the whole discussion later in the article about how navigating being Black and American at the same time might provide some background or experienced or skill set to navigate being affiliated with or honoring two faiths at the same time as well. I can't speak about that experience personally, but I thought it was a fascinating idea and something that was worthy of some reflection. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to finishing the project and getting the contacts and the experience that go with it. Thank you.